tearing at him, and this gal wasn't paying attention to what she was doing. And I guess he had groceries in her front seat, and the bottle of milk fell out, and so she reached down to grab it, and when she did, she hit the throttle. He was stopped, hit him in the back at about 35 miles an hour, and pushed his truck into the truck that was in front of him. And like I said, he didn't get injured at all. He was very, very fortunate. Shook up, but his truck is just totally totaled.
Rough on the truck, but glad he didn't get hurt. Trucks are replaceable. It's really hard at our ages to recover from that kind of thing. Over.
He said he's done a little searching around, and he's found two trucks just exactly like the truck that he had, but they're new. His was a 2018, and he found some 2023s. There's a pair of them down in Georgia that exactly the same model, same options that are been sitting on the lot for 50 days. They haven't sold, so he's going to call down there and see if he can't get one of them.
Wow. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, we just been going great guns there with everything going on, and between the wife and her medical stuff, and me with the business, why we've been busy. Over.
KE7 MFW.
KE7 MFW. Good evening, Rex.
Carry on, guys.
So what's your business again? Remind me.
Oh, I'm doing piecework for a small company that deals with fiber optic distribution panels and boxes and all things related to fiber optics. And I'm doing a lot of the assembly of them. I'll go over, pick up parts and pieces, and bring them over here to the shop and put them all together and then take them back. Over.
Okay, well that sort of keeps you busy. Doesn't give you, I know it cuts into your TV time, but oh well. Back to you there, Mike.
Well, yeah, TV time is the evenings most of the time, so it's all right. But yeah, it's been interesting. Today I dropped an order off and found additional pieces that we needed. We were 256 nuts short on finishing up this order, and he found some stuff that would work in place of the nuts, and so we put those 7 pieces together and then did some other stuff and then come on home. And so tomorrow I think is going to be doing some cutting some firewood up for next year. Over.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to get to talking about firewood. Yeah, I need to start thinking about getting some pellets for next year too. So while you can still get them. So anyhow, I almost hate going online anymore. You just hear so much weird stuff going on. Of course, half the stuff is bullshit, but part of it's true, and even just the part that's true is pretty darn scary. So I bought a freeze dryer. Yeah, I just got it Monday, and just got it assembled yesterday, and I'm waiting. The only thing I'm missing on is I got to get a bucket to put the drain water in a longer plastic hose for it. But then I can start freeze drying the stuff that comes out of the greenhouse and not waste any of it. And the good part of it, stuff like cauliflower, stuff like that, you cut the flowers off, and then the stem is pretty bare. What you can do, you just cut those in 3/4 inch pieces, freeze dry them, put them in a blender, and then you can use that for stock for a soup or sauce or whatever. And You don't have to, I was thinking about what to do with all this vegetables and food, and I don't have to have a freezer now for it. I'll just freeze dry it and put it in a mason jar or a mylar bag and call it good. So over to KE7 MFW. What's going on with you, Rex?
Okay, guys. Hi, Mike. Hi, Jim. Not much going on here. Before I forget, your freeze dryer. You can also get into taxidermy. They call those things whole body preservators. You might find a dead bird out there and perch him up there with some wire and put in some glass eyes and put him in the freeze dryer, and you got a nicely mounted bird. Just don't get him wet. That's what they've been doing now. You don't have to clean out the insides or stuff them with foam or nothing. That's what these guys are doing now for some of the small critters in the museums and things. Not doing much there. I have something. Oh yeah, Jim. I sent you some emails and they came back. So send me an email with your good email address so I can get you back on the list for pertinent information. Back to you. It's K7 MFW.
Okay, I'll do that, Rex. Thank you. So this is KE6 ZIQ net control for the West Coast Military Radio Net. Do I have any check-ins? Come now. Okay, well, nothing heard, so I had a good day Sunday. N6 VAV had to be up here on Monday for a meeting, and he was coming up Sunday. And I had some roof problems, and I also had some leg problems. I couldn't even climb a ladder, and I mentioned it to him, and he says, well, I'll come up and take care of it. So he came up Sunday afternoon late and got my roof fixed because it was leaking. And it's still going to have to. I'm still going to have a roofer come in and do about half the roof. But it stopped any further leaks. He gave me some time, so thought that was pretty darn nice of him to do that. So we went out to my friend John Budman out in Silver Springs, and he was selling a bunch of radio stuff, and so he bought a power supply from him. And we came back, and boy, I tell you what, Sunday night, it was raining so hard going over there. By the time we got to Stagecoach, even with the windshield wipers on high speed, I couldn't even see out the window, the windshield. It was raining that hard. And then we had the power went out, too, so for about an hour. So anyhow, again, this is KE6 ZIQ net control for the West Coast Military Radio Net. Any other check-ins? West Coast Net, come now.
Yeah, hi, Jim. W7MS, Mike in Reno.
W7MS, Mike in Reno. Good. I got you in the log here, Mike. So, what's been going on with you? You still dealing with all that weather we're having here in Stagecoach? Not tonight, but yesterday and the day before, lots of lightning and thunder.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad this is just an opportunity to operate, since the last few afternoons and evenings have been unsafe to have a active lightning attractor called an antenna enabled. So, yeah, I think we're drying out, and I think we're headed to summer.
It looks like we're going to get at least a week's worth of good weather. They're talking high 70s, low 80s, so suits me fine. I got lots of stuff I need to do outside. So, but it was, the mornings would be nice until about noon, then about 2 o'clock it just started to cloud up, and then all of a sudden you'd hear the thunder, and and then within a couple hours it just starts to rain. So I guess, you know, the rain it's good and bad, and hopefully it'll keep the fire danger down, which is good, you know. But the bad part is, well, I tell you what, I've been here for about 10 years now. About 5 years ago, we had a heavy winter, lots of rain. Because, you know, we usually get around 2 inches, 3 inches a year, and we probably had like 7 inches. And living in the desert here, you know, there's not much grows, and even the cheatgrass only grows 4 inches. And we had that rain, and the desert just absolutely just turned into like a huge flower show. Everything was blooming. Everything grew tremendously tall and big, and I spent days with a weed whacker trying to whack all this shit down, and now we're having it again. Though we're having that instead of like in the past few years we had in the summer, you know, we had smoke all summer, and it looks like maybe this summer it's going to be on and off wetter than usual, is what they're saying, because of the El Nino. So anyhow, any other check-ins? West Coast Military Radio Net, come now. Nothing heard, and basically it's about time to get the net started here. We only have 4 right now, but hopefully we'll have some more. So the solar flux is 144, the A is 5, and the K is 1. It's kind of noisy, but I'm hearing all you guys, W7NPA up in Oregon, and KE7MFW Rex in Carrington, and W7MS Mike in Reno, just fine. So that's kind of what's going on there. As I'd mentioned to Mike, I just here about half an hour ago, I got a phone call from Mark, KI0PF, and he was just involved in a car wreck today, and he was stopped. They were doing some road work out of Colorado Springs on the way back to his house, and they were stopping the traffic on one lane, and they let the traffic from the other lane come in, and then they run the lane he was in. You know, they'd switching lanes. And he said he just happened to look in his rearview mirror, and he sees this big red truck come barreling down the road, and this gal was driving it, hit him at about 35 miles an hour. Apparently she had some groceries on her front seat, and a bottle of milk or something fell out, and she reached down to the floor to grab it, and when she did, she hit the throttle, hit him about 35 miles an hour. Mark was parked, and they said it totaled his truck and pushed his truck into the truck in front of him, and his truck is totally junk parts. He said the amazing thing was no glass broke. And he went to the hospital and got, you know, thoroughly checked over for, you know, his back and, you know, all kind of stuff, and he was in good shape. And it was basically the gal had admitted what she did. It was her fault. So, but his truck is toast. So he's staying at a friend's house right now because he doesn't have any wheels. His friend will take him somewhere. They'll have to rent a car for him till he can find a truck. So he's a lucky guy. He did, you know, just got a little bit shook up, but there was, you know, no injuries or anything like that. So it's just something that was certainly not on his mind about not being able to make it home and have your truck turned into a piece of junk steel. So anyhow, yeah, I got my freeze dryer Monday, and the guy called me, and I thought it was going to be it was FedEx. I thought it was going to be one of the small trucks. So it was a 40-foot trailer with a package weighed about 250 pounds. It was palletized. So fortunately, my tractor, I got forks, and so I went down to my driveway, which is a quarter mile long, And I picked it up and got it back up the hill, and in fact, as soon as I picked it up from the truck, it started raining. Started raining pretty good by the time I got home, but I got it up, got it set on the front porch, and was able to put the tractor away and cover it, and get the freeze dryer in the house. So I just got it installed yesterday. Finally figured out where to put it. Had to move a whole bunch of stuff, and it was, what do I do with this? And I didn't remember I had one of those, and so it was like kind of like Christmas again. So it's ready to go, except that I need to have a drain bucket, and I need one that's about 6 inches wide, and it'll probably hold a couple of gallons. And I need to get another piece of Tygon hose, a little bit longer than what they sent me. And then what I got to do, they said the first thing they want you to do is take a cheap loaf of bread and hang on here a second.
Well, Jim's got a telephone call, but good evening, Rex. Nice to hear you, W7MS.
Very good, Mike. Yeah, I think I heard Rich in the background. Evidently, he's not hearing Jim, and I bet you that's him calling to see where everybody is. I kind of heard him in there, but he couldn't hear Jim. Good to hear you, though. W7MS, K7MFW.
Okay, well, thanks, Rex. Yeah, I'm utilizing the McKay MSR 8000 I picked up at Brad's, and that's coupled to the matching kilowatt amplifier that I've had for a couple of years, but gives me an opportunity tonight to exercise at W7MS.
Yeah, W7MS. I have lots of stuff around here, radios that need to get exercised. So I've been trying to get ahead of the game. I just seem to have lots of projects lately right now. Something always comes up. But one of the big ones I want to do is I got my GRC 193 or 193 I'd like to get running. That's in the pin scour. So there's another, and run on the 16-foot whip, see how that works. So that's the AT1011 antenna, the top section of it. So anyhow, yeah, that was Rich, and he was saying that he's not hearing anybody. And I said, well, he said, are you on 3996? I said, yep. Yeah, that's Easy A. And I said, I don't know what's going on, but, we're all hearing each other. So, anyhow, let's see, I was going on the freeze dryer. So once you get it running, they say, take a loaf of bread, and there's 4 trays, and that are about 6 inches wide and 16 inches long. And he said, lay a low piece of, fill them full of one slice of bread, one next to the other, wet them somewhat, and then put them in there, and then run the freeze dryer through a cycle. And he said, what that'll do is that'll clean out any of the manufacturing stuff that's inside, any vapors or other issues, things. And then when it's done, it'll tell you that it's done. Just take it out and then throw the bread away. Don't eat it. And then he said, once you do that, then it's good to go. So I'm hoping that I can better use the stuff that's going to be coming out of the greenhouse. That was kind of the purpose of the whole thing. Plus the fact I thought they were on sale, and I thought I better get it before I can't get it. So it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. So anyhow, any other check-ins? West Coast Military Radio Net, come now. Okay, nothing heard there, so let's see, we'll just do another quick pass here. I'll think about other stuff. I said I was very thankful for what N6CAV did for me on patching the holes in my roof. Boy, he got it done just in the right time. Because after he got off the roof, it just started pouring down rain. And so that makes you feel a whole lot better. So I haven't had to run the heater at all. It's just, humidity's up. But, dries out during the day except for the afternoons. And we're supposed to get chance of rain and thunder showers this evening, but that never happened. The sky changed. I see a little bit of blue sky, thin, light gray clouds. I don't think we're going to see anything tonight, so it's only at about 15%. So we'll go W7 NPA Mike, KE7 MFW Rex, and W7 MS Mike. So it goes over to Mike W7 NPA. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, okay, Jim, real good. KE6ZIQ is W7NPA. All right, well, everybody's got pretty good signals tonight. Mike there in Reno is doing real good, exercising his amp. So that's a good thing. I'm kind of doing the same thing here. We're on the ICOM tonight. I can't even get to the 106s right now. They are buried with equipment in front of them. It's just kind of stacking up. Need on the freeze dryer. I looked at doing something like that, but just didn't have the cash flow at the time to be able to take advantage of that. But boy, that'd sure solve a lot of problems. Definitely would solve a lot of problems. And I take it that this is the holes are on or the roof panels or whatever are on your house, Jim, over?
Yeah, that's correct. We get real strong winds from the southwest, and it blew a bunch of shingles off. I mean, real strong winds. I had the insurance company come out here and gave me an estimate, and they said they'd replace that half of the roof. The rest of the roof looked okay, but the problem I had was that you can't get anybody to do any work. I called about 5 different places, and nobody even returned my call.
Oh, that's not good. Well, hopefully you can find somebody to do that for you. So with that, over to Rex. Good evening, Rex. KE7MFW. This is W7NPA. Over.
W7NPA, KE7MFW. Very good, Mike. I got a couple things here on my notes because I can't remember. I don't know if you got it, Jim or Mike. There in Reno, but we got mosquitoes. Oh, have we got mosquitoes? Keep you alive as soon as you get out in the morning. They're hanging on the door. Oh, it's terrible. We've only had the bucket truck come by one time this year. They've got the crop duster spraying the river or the wetlands or the fields or something. But they aren't doing anything out here, and it's even worse in town. It's just terrible. We can wait. And I went by a fellow's house down by the river there in town, and he's got like 2 feet of water flowing through his house. He's right on the river. His house is okay. They anticipated this when they built the place. It's up in the air quite a ways, but his crawl space is flooded. We made a berm so he could get to the front door and park his truck out on the street. Not doing too good there. On the plus note, I got the Jawa fired up, but having trouble with the generator. Putting out what it should. Haven't driven it yet because gotta get the generator going, but it does run. Anyway, that's what's going on around here. Nothing too exciting. W7MS.
Well, thank you, Rex. K7MFW, W7MS. Well, a few comments to Jim. We'll get on the food dryer, and I just was smiling to myself. I think I'd be tempted to maybe just take a small taste of that bread. Might, well, that's going to be probably a unique flavor, but sounds like a good procedure to make sure that it's broken in, and that you're not ingesting anything nasty there in your food. But good on the dryer, and a good way to provision for that garden and for the winter. And I was chuckling on your comments, all the precipitation, and I was talking to my neighbor. He's working on the lot line fence here, and normally he would drag his property for a weed abatement project, but it's so wet and muddy he decided to mow it, and it actually looks like he has a lawn. It's nice and green, and looks really plush, but of course that won't last long. It'll be dead brown here in a week or two. But it's I looked over there and went, wow, almost looks like a golf course with the mow job he did. And sorry to hear about KI0PS issues with the accident, but he's okay, and hopefully he won't have any lingering issues that may come up, such as whiplash and the other things that can occur when you're involved in a rear ender. But it sounds as if everything's okay, and the offending party actually admitted fault, which of course your insurance carrier is going to say never admit fault. But that's the right thing to do, especially when it's so definitive. And I would assume she was cited by the local authorities there for what whoever would provide that situation. But I'm glad he's okay. Radio exercising, absolutely correct. And my good signal from Oregon, the GRC 106s are not physically attainable, and you're on the ICOM, but good signal from you. And Rex is having a mosquito problem, and no mosquitoes here. I think I've seen some no-see-ums, whatever those may be in the generic no-see-um term, but no mosquitoes. But that's life in the big city. So back to you, Jim. K6ZIQ W7MS.
W7MS. Yeah, where I used to live there in California up by Weaverville, there was always, mosquitoes there. But I haven't really seen that many out where I'm at, because where I live, I'm on 20 acres out in the desert here in Stagecoach Valley. My nearest neighbor's a quarter mile away. There's no water around here. And so I'm not seeing many mosquitoes. The only thing that sometimes every year I'll get a bunch of flies. I got to be careful about leaving doors open. But no mosquitoes. And I tell you what, I don't miss them. Yeah, I lived in them for years, and that's pretty good. So anyhow, let's see. Yeah, I guess you got lots of stuff going on here. I said moving all that stuff to put the food the freezer freeze dryer. I've opened up a lot of boxes I haven't been in since I moved here, and boy, I tell you what, it all of a sudden turned into be Christmas. I found some cool stuff, and then some stuff that why am I keeping this? So I got to start doing a little more of that and going through and getting rid of stuff that is obvious, and then see if I can't sell a bunch of the other stuff. And I certainly got more than I need at this time, or more than I'll ever use. So that's kind of what's happening here. Just been trying to get my greenhouse finished. The other day I was working on it, and I put the solar panels up on the top of it. I had 3 panels I had to put up, and of course I had about a 10 or 12 foot ladder I had leaned up against the geodesic dome, and I took some tent stakes and staked the bottoms so the ladder wouldn't slip out on me, because because I needed to stand almost not on the top, but on the next step below the top, and then to lean over in order to get it far enough where I could screw the brackets to the solar panels to the frame on the greenhouse. And of course, you know, you're doing something that normally you wouldn't do. And anyhow, I didn't feel it at first, but boy, I tell you what, by that evening, I had both of my calves had a knot right in the big part of your calf, just, you know, below your knee. You know, and it felt like it was the size of a lemon or something. And I could barely walk. And it lasted for a couple days. It really slowed me down, and so I just, you know, the muscles were getting back at me for doing something you haven't done in a long, long time. So, and that was also one of the reasons why, you know, at that point I couldn't climb up the ladder, and that's when Craig volunteered to come up and fix the roof for me. So hopefully I'll get somebody a roofer to come in and get it done. And it kind of pisses me off a little bit, you know. If I was 30 years younger, I'd do it myself. I did facilities maintenance for 30, 40 years, and I'd done lots of roofs. But you know, at my age, I just don't trust myself up on the roof by myself. You know, what do you do if you accidentally hit the ladder and the ladder falls down? Then I'm stuck on the roof. It's real hard finding any help around here. So anyhow, that's kind of what's going on here. I said I'm hearing everyone just fine, with the exception of Rich. I don't know what was happening with him, if he's having an antenna problem or what's going on down there, but he told me yesterday that he got he has 2 Jeeps and an M37 that he's got parked in front of his house, and he got ticketed for them because the cops want him to move them. And so I don't know what he's going to do. I guess they're going to wind up on his lawn or something. I don't know. But of course, he hadn't started them in a while, and so it took a while to get the things running, and then he found out he had to buy batteries for the M37. And last year I bought 5 batteries. I had I had 2 batteries for the pin scour, because that's 24 volts, and I had 2 batteries for my CAT excavator, because that's 24 volts. And then my John Deere tractor is a 112-volt battery, so there's 5 batteries. And boy, those little guys are getting real expensive. So hopefully I'm out of the battery business for a while, but I'm sure paying more attention to them and taking care of them. So I try and make regular rounds and recharge them at every couple of months, instead of waiting a year to recharge them. So anyhow, any other check-ins? West Coast Military Radio Net, come now.
November 6, Charlie Alpha Victor.
Well, you sound great. So what's going on there, Craig?
Well, Jim, I successfully made it from your place all the way up to Reno, then from Reno down to Sacramento, and then after my meeting in Sacramento, I made it all the way out to Sebastopol, which is kind of out towards Eureka. If anyone's familiar with the Bohemian Grove, it's just a little south of there. That's that secret society, Bohemian Grove area, where all the presidents go and do, worship some, Morlock or something. Anyway, I stopped in there to pick up 3 very large pallets of solar panels. These are Cylindra panels that are being auctioned off on a website called batteryhookup.com. You may have heard me mention those guys before. These are some really unique panels, though, because they're evacuated glass cylinders, and there's a whole bunch of cylinders on one rack. And they don't have to be angled up towards the sun. I'm going to be using them in New Mexico, where the snow will just go right through them. I'm also planning to put together like a, not a terrarium, I forget what they call it, like a trellis on the backside of our house here. And instead of, using wood slats, I'm just going to use these solar panels. They'll let the light through and at the same time provide power. So anyhow, that's kind of what's going on. That was a long, long day. I have to tell you, Monday, driving from Reno to Sacramento to Sebastopol and then back down here, I think I was in my truck for 12 hours, maybe 14 hours. It was a long day. So that's what's going on here. N60AB for call.
N60AB. Well, thank you again for the work on the roof. It's holding up just fine. It's doing just a great job. And boy, we were really lucky as far as the rain. And I had that happen to me again. My freeze dryer showed up Monday, about 1 o'clock. And the guy had a 40-foot truck, so he couldn't come up the driveway. So I had my forks on the trailers, or my tractor, so I drove down there to pick them up off there. And by the time I got them loaded on the forks and took the lid off to take a look at it to verify it was okay, put the lid on, then it started pouring down rain. And so I had to run back up the driveway slowly with the freeze dryer on it and get it put inside. And then it rained a little bit last night, and it was supposed to rain today, but it hasn't, and I think we're going to have about 7 days with no rain, so that will be just fine as far as I'm concerned. So that sounds real good. So I told everyone else, I hadn't told you, but I just got a call from KI0PF Mark from Colorado, and he was just involved in a terrible car accident today. And he was stopped at some road work, and this gal came up behind him and wasn't paying attention to what she was doing. Something fell out. She had some groceries on a seat, and one of the bags fell over, and something fell out, and she reached down and grabbed whatever it was that fell out. And when she did, she hit the throttle and went into the back of Mark at about 35 miles an hour. Mark's parked and totaled his truck and pushed his truck into the truck in front of him. And in a split second, he was just sitting in a totally pile of scrap metal. But he went to the hospital and got checked out, and he was real lucky. He didn't have a scratch. And the amazing thing about it was, of course, all the airbags popped and everything. But he never. None of the glass broke in the truck, which he said which he thought was pretty amazing. But he said the only panel on his truck that was still straight was the top of the cab. Every other panel was bent. So, but like he said, he got through it okay, went to the hospital, got checked out, and so now it's just got to go through the inconvenience of not having a car, and he'll rent one tomorrow, and then go find some vehicle to replace his truck, because it's beyond restoring. So. Well, I'm glad you got safely down there. Those solar panels sound really interesting. That's great. Yeah, that's really good. So anyhow, any other check-ins? West Coast Military Radio Net, come now. KI6EVA. So what happened, Rich?
Okay, so I'm sitting here working with Jerome. Jerome has my Mamiya radio control tank that I don't use anymore, and it has no radio system in it. And we're working on that, putting his radio system in there, so he'll have a tank. And I've been teaching the kid how to solder. He's been doing all his own wiring, soldering, and shrink tubing, and making up his harness. And I fired up the radio and getting ready. I don't hear anybody. And I started calling several times. I didn't hear anybody. So that's when I called you on the phone. And anyway, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I messed with it for a little bit. Kind of said, well, maybe I'll hear them in a few minutes. And, I'm not hearing anybody. We're working. And I'm like, why is the signal not coming up? Why am I not hearing anybody? So I said, I'm right here. Jerome's doing his thing with his tank. And I tried to call him up, and I'm looking, and I got a full signal on my 138. Full reception signal. I turn the volume up real loud, and I can hear a loud buzz. interference or something. And I'm thinking, oh man, remember, I don't know, 8 years ago or so, I had interference that would start at 8 o'clock every night from some combinate or something like that. And I'm thinking, what is that interference coming from? And then, what am I doing right now for the last 2 or 3 days trying to get my vehicles running? I'm charging the battery. So, way out there on the sidewalk, the battery charger is sitting on the hood of the M38A1, charging the batteries in the M38A1. I unplugged the extension cord going to the battery charger, and voila, I heard everybody. So, I heard you. So, that was it. The battery charger is at least 50 feet away, plugged in out there, but it pretty much was a 100% overpowering signal of a continuous bump with a little bit of a harmonic waving in it. So there we go. You don't want a battery charger if you're going to be on the HF radio. KE6EIQ, KI6EZA.
Well, that's real interesting, Rich. I figured it was something along those lines. There was something that was turned off or wasn't connected, or something weird was going on. You should have heard us. There was enough of us here, so. But you sound okay there, so glad you got that figured out. So, okay. Any other check-ins? West Coast Military Radio Net, come now. Okay, nothing heard. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 6 people tonight. That's pretty good. So, I don't know. I don't have anything else really interesting to go. So let's do a kind of a 73 round here. And if someone has any questions or answers or stuff they're looking to buy or sell or something like that, mention that at this time. And then when we get all done, we'll close the net down for tonight and see what we can do next week. And we can talk about the weather this week. So it'll be W7NPA, and then KE7MFW, then W7MS, and then W6EAB, and then KI6EZA, and then back up to me. So over to W7NPA. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, okay, Jim, real good. KE6ZIQ. And the group, this is W7NPA. Oh, very good. Yeah, it's maintenance type things around here. I've got to get the fuel filter changed on the 10 kW generator. Been putting that off for a couple of months. Keep forgetting about it. The battery thing, I have been using battery maintainers on the Deuce and a Half since I bought it. So I've had very good luck with the use of the battery maintainers. Those batteries are still usable. Matter of fact, right now I've got one of them in my Ford tractor, diesel tractor, and it's holding the charge and whatnot. And I was looking, and the date code on that was 08. Didn't realize I had the truck that long. So they definitely help. And unfortunately, that truck's going to go away this summer. I don't have time to be able to get to it. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, but that's just the way it goes. Anyway, over to Rex. We'll say 73 to everybody. Rich, I'm hearing you, but not real strong. And the same with Craig there. So, KE7MFW. This is W7NPA, and we'll say 73, and we'll listen out through the group. Over to you, Rex.
W7NPA, K7MFW. Very good, Mike. Good evening. Yes, Rich, I can hear, but he's really down, and Craig's coming in very well. So, don't have anything else to add. a good net. I got to get back up on the confuser and take care of some business. And Jim, don't forget email so I can get you the one that works anyway. Very good. Okay, guys. W7MS. This is KE7MFW.
Well, thank you, Rex, KE7MFW, and the group W7MS. A quick question for you, Rex, and Jim may be aware of this, but somebody here locally bought an M37 that was somewhere out in the area of Wellington, sitting out in a field. Does that ring a bell with you?
No, it does not. Lots of fields in Wellington. I only came out there on the way over on the highway. But no, I have not heard of any M37s moving around out here. Back to you.
Okay, well, thanks. I figured maybe there might be that possibility that you've been driving by it for years and wondered, and recently noticed that it had disappeared, but lives up the road there in Lemon Valley in somebody's garage. It's a big project, but it'll be a fun one, and they're really, I think they're really sexy to look at, irregardless of condition. It's a neat military vehicle. But comments, Greg and Rich, Q5, but competition from static crashes. It's that time of the year, Jim, where it's poor propagation, noisy conditions here on 75, and also probably explains the lower turnouts for obvious reasons. But that's also a reason why I curtail quite a bit of activity on 75 during the summer months. It's tough competition with Mother Nature, but good on all. Congratulations on having the roof patched up, and Greg's timely arrival. With all these thunderstorm activity, that's a good on both of you guys. But I'll say 7-3s and listen out and listen through, and we'll be standing by for the close of the net. So over to Greg, N6CAV W7MS.
W7MS and the group, N6CAV. I don't know whether or not Jim shared this, but when the rain came up there, it was like biblical. I was amazed at how quickly, and Jim was, we went for a short drive after we got that done, but it was coming down so hard, there was just about an inch of water on the highway and nothing flat. Windshield wipers at maximum speed were barely keeping up. It was really an insane amount of water in a very short period of time. It made me appreciate flash floods in that neck of the woods, or lack of say. Anyway, nothing much to add other than curious when it comes down to you whether or not there were any leaks after that level of water and a very quick catch job. One last thing. I am looking for a connector for that linear amp. It's the pin connector, or Jones connector, 6-pin, and pin 1 vertical, used on old Yaesu products. So if anyone's got something like that floating around, I am looking for that connector. 6 pins with all of them flat, all of the pin orientation is much more common. I can get one of those on eBay all day long, and if I have to, what I'll do is I'll take one of those, pull out that one pin, drill it out, and then epoxy it in vertically if I have to do that. So I am looking for that connector if anyone's got something like that. Again, used on old Yaesu products. So with that, I'll say 73, and I'll be listening out and pass it on down to Rich, KI6BZA, take it, and 680.
All right, Greg. I'm just waiting in the truck. So here is the police came on and put abandoned vehicle notice tickets on my Jeep and my 37. So I haven't been out there. I haven't driven with it in actually I haven't driven Jeep in 6 weeks since I got back from the NorCal rally. The
the two Jeeps were covered in spider webs. They had leaves in them from the trees. Dirt and gravel all underneath the vehicle, so you can feel the asphalt on the trees driving by, and it all just kind of clings to the vehicle because they don't move. So it's the same thing with the F-37. So the police ticketed all of them. They had money to do trailer. And so I was like, get out there. And of course, the batteries on all of them were dead. And I was surprised that the damage Jeep was dead because I had the batteries disconnected, but they went dead anyway. And that's what we do. And the Army F-38A1, it was dead too. It's 6 weeks since I drove it, and it for it to go dead. So, and it was dead, like dead. So I was hoping they'd come back. And the F-37 gave a little bit of a grunt when I stepped on it, so there was still some juice there. But anyway, I charged him up. I started up the gas Jeep for about an hour, and then hit it with a little starting fluid, fired up, and just went ahead and drove it around, and transferred it over to the Jeep yesterday for a couple hours. I couldn't leave the charger sitting on the hood all night, so I put it inside the F-37 and charged it. So it went a good, 20 hours maybe. And so today when I got home from work, I moved the charger over to the Army F-38A1 and started working on the F-37, and all I had to do literally was just fire it up. That thing loves to start. So aired up the tires, cleaned it off, and went for a drive around the neighborhood, and cleaned up the street underneath, so it all looks good. Pretty much tomorrow, I think everything will be ready. I'll play musical trucks and park them all in different places, and they'll look like they're all mobile vehicles again. So, anyway, yeah, I gotta love musical trucks. Somebody ordered a car around the corner that looks like it's from Arizona. It's a lowrider, and it's probably stolen because it's been sitting there a while. Really nice looking little Cutlass Sierra, or Cutlass Supreme lowrider, but it's been there a while, and then all of a sudden it's sitting on blocks, and the wheels are gone. Just like you can get it. Oh, wait a minute, that's where I live. And it's been that way a little bit. Cops probably got reported, and they came out, and of course they're here. The retired volunteer patrol, the right thing, they're hitting everything they can find in the neighborhood. So, anyway, it makes me wonder how they're going to tow a car from a block. Because it's selling. I'm just wondering how they're going to do it. So, nice doing. Still haven't quite gotten over this damn cold. I'll pass it on to Jim, KI6EVA.
Okay, KI6EVA. Sounds good enough. Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen, for all showing up tonight. We had 6 people here on the net. We had 3 from Nevada, 2 from California, 1 from Washington. So there was some, noise, atmospheric noise, but basically I was hearing everyone just fine. So thank you all very much for showing up. And Craig, no leaks on the roof. It's holding fine. So thank you again. So this is KE6 VIQ, net control for the West Coast Military Radio Net. I'm going to close the net at this time and return this portion of the band back to regular amateur use. Thank you again, gentlemen, for showing up. Have a great remainder of the evening and have a great week. And look forward to talking to you next week. We can all have some new tales of brave Ulysses to discuss. This is KE6 VIQ. I will be listening out then clear. Good evening.